Om Shanti. I am in the present. Calm, peaceful. Feel your peace. All's virtue, purity. I am a divine angel. Angels all around me. Purity within me, all around me. Supreme Soul, God, all around me. Is purity. Love. I am surrounded by it. I surrender everything to God. What the future holds for me. God is the best guide. I surrender to Him. I am completely in the present. My focus is in the present, in the now. Making my present beautiful, happy, peaceful. I surrender to Supreme Soul. And I am relaxed. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. We are trying to understand, to know the depth of the meaning of surrender. And it's a very, very beautiful thing to surrender because we are understanding that surrender does not mean that I won't do anything to change the situation, but surrender means that I will do my best, but I will be peaceful without resistance, without complaining, without cribbing, without crying, without tension, without anger, without frustration. I will change the situation. I will not be anxious about how things are going to pan out, what is going to happen in future, how my this behavior is going to change, what I have to do in my life, in my professional life, all sorts of things. I have to work towards it, but simultaneously I surrender. I surrender everything to God, that God is my best guide. I just have to do one thing. I have to be in the present, and I have to just receive the signal that, okay, God, you're my best friend, you're my guide. You tell me what I have to do. क्या करना चाहिए मुझे? And we will receive the signal. You know, there's a saying that we listen through two things: one through ears, second through traumas. So sometimes when we hear, when we listen, or when we receive a signal, when we get a thought, either that is something very clean, very pure, or it is mixed of my traumas, my biasness, my negativity, my fear. That's why we are not clear that what is the right path. So we have to remove those negativity, that fear, that biasness, that uncomfortableness. So after we remove, in short, the ego. So when we start removing the ego, we will find that, okay, this is my calling, this is what I have to do. So this is clear. This is the impact, purpose of surrendering to God is we are understanding it. So we let's start resuming the study reading. So the main heading was from mind energy to spiritual energy. So the last question which we covered yesterday was letting go of resistance is easier said than done. We talked about let go of the resistance. I still don't see clearly how to let go. If you say it is by surrendering, the question remains how. Start by acknowledging that there is resistance. You know, whatever we do throughout the day, there you will find a little resistance. I should not do that. Why am I doing that? It should not be like that. Nobody listen to me. My culture, my office culture, my home culture is like that. They don't listen to me. There is resistance. So start by acknowledging that there is resistance. Be there when it happens, when the resistance arises. Observe how your mind creates it, how it labels the situation, yourself or others. Look at the thought process involved. Feel the energy of the emotion. Again, what we are doing, we are witnessing, observing. By witnessing the resistance, you will see that it serves no purpose. By focusing all your attention on the now, the unconscious resistance is made conscious, and that is the end of it. You have thrown the light on the unconsciousness, The resistance is unconscious behavior. It comes from unconsciousness. It really does not serve any purpose. Really does not know what to do with it. It just creates the pain. So when we witness it, it is not going to have any purpose. By focusing all your attention on the now, the unconscious resistance is made conscious, and that is the end of it. You cannot be conscious and unhappy, conscious and in negativity. Simple. We understood that if I'm conscious, I cannot be unhappy. Negativity, unhappiness, or suffering in whatever form means that there is resistance. Resistance is always unconscious. So, surely I can be conscious of my unhappy feeling, those uncomfortable emotions, unhappy feelings. So I can be conscious of all these. Would you choose unhappiness? If you did not choose it, how did it arise? हम में से कोई चूज तो नहीं करता ना unhappiness. What is the purpose of this unhappiness? That resistance, that tension. Who is keeping it alive? You say that you are conscious of your unhappy feelings, but the truth is that you are identified with them and keep the process alive through your compulsive thinking. All that is unconscious. If you were conscious, this is to say totally present in the now, all negativity would dissolve almost instantly. It could not survive in your presence. It can only survive in your absence. Even the pain body cannot survive for long in your presence. You keep your unhappiness alive by giving it time. That is its lifeblood. Remove time through intense present moment awareness and it dies. But do you want it to die? That's the bigger question. Have you truly had enough? Who would you be without it? So, we don't choose happiness. If we are unhappy, sad, anxious, we have not really chosen it, right? It is coming from all the unconscious part, the compulsive thinking. And when we are in the present, it cannot survive. And it cannot survive in your presence. In your presence means soul consciousness. So you keep your happiness alive by giving it time. We think about it. This is the lifeblood. So remove the past and future identification through intense present moment awareness and it dies. But do you want it to die? Most of the people's answer is that I don't want it to die. I don't want my pain and happiness to go away. You know why? Have you truly had enough? Who would you be without it? That is the bigger question, that if you remove all the pain, unhappiness from your life, who would you be? And this is a question most of the people are scared of. They don't want to be in a place where there is no pain because they think that nothing is going to be mine then. Total soul conscious. So people want to live in the illusion. This is mine, this is mine, this person is mine, this thing is mine. Until you practice surrender, the spiritual dimension is something you read about, talk about, get excited about, write books about, think about, believe in, or don't, as the case may be, it makes no difference. Not until you surrender does it become a living reality in your life. When you do, the energy that you emanate and which then runs your life is of a much higher vibrational frequency than the mind energy that still runs our world. the energy that created the existing social, political, and economic structure of our civilization, and which also continuously perpetuates itself through our educational system and the media, right? So, author is saying that by practicing meditation, you will be at a higher vibrational frequency. Otherwise, the mind identified word is like this, it is divided either socially, politically, economically, and through education system. And you know that what is the condition of all these things. Through surrender, spiritual energy comes into this world. Very important. When we surrender, when we let go of the things which we are not in the control, spiritual energy comes into this world. It creates no suffering for yourself, for other humans, or any other life form on the planet. Unlike mind energy, it does not pollute the earth. It is not subject to the law of polarities, which dictates that nothing can exist without its opposite, that there can be no good without bad, right? Uh, you know, the author is trying to say that when mind, if we are using mind energy, there will always be polarities. People argue about it that, there has to be polarity. There cannot be any good without bad. I remember a professor was talking to me about this few days ago. He said that, like a magnetic pole, or even in calculations, if there is no negative, then there will be no significance of positive. So I smiled, and then, I laughed it off, and I said that, sir, your CA rules and magnetic rules does not apply to spirituality. There should be absolutely no negativity, right? So when spiritual energy comes into this world, there is no polarity, only positivity, same thing, no dividation. Those who run on mind energy, which is still the vast majority of Earth population, remain unaware of the existence of spiritual energy. It belongs to a different order of reality and will create a different world when a sufficient number of humans enter the surrendered state. And the approximate idea is that only 1% of the human population needs to be conscious, needs to bring that spiritual dimension, that learn to the art of being in the present, to surrender. It and will create a different world when a sufficient number. If 1% of us becomes conscious, no, it is going to change the whole vibration of this world. The world it is right, the way it is now will start to change. That's why the concept of golden age, Satyu, comes in the picture, and so become totally free of negativity. If the earth is to survive, this will be the energy of those who inhabit it. The earth is in crisis, right? So this is the way, learning the art of surrender. It's not a small thing. I'm bringing that spiritual energy to this world, that peace, that purity, that love, that harmony we are bringing. Jesus referred to this energy when he made his famous prophetic statement in the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the gentle, they shall have the earth for their possession. It is a silent but intense presence that dissolves the unconscious pattern of the mind. They may still remain active for a while, but they won't run your life anymore. The external conditions that were being resisted also tend to shift or dissolve quickly through surrender. It is a powerful transformer of situations and the people. If conditions do not shift immediately, your acceptance of the now enables you to rise above them. Either way, you're free. So we have to start practicing surrender. And by doing this, it is a powerful transformer of situations and people. Let's try it out. When we surrender which are not in my control, I let go. I don't want to control, I surrender. Results not in my control, I surrender. I just have to keep my intentions pure. I just have to work everything. I have to do all the hard work also. I have to be Karam Yogi also. I have to focus on myself also, not looking for credit, not looking for appreciation, not looking for anything of the outside. I just have to serve. I just have to work. I have to be in the present, doing it with love, pure joy, purity. What is going to happen? People and situation will start to change, and not only one person, the whole world's consciousness will start to change, right? So if conditions do not shift immediately, your acceptance of now enables you to rise above them. Either the situations will change or you will be above those situations. Either way, you're free, right? So how to understand surrender in personal relationships? What about people who want to use me? This question comes up in everyone's mind that they take me for granted if I'm good. So let's hear the answer. The question is, what about people who want to use me, manipulate me, or control me? Am I to surrender to them? They are cut off from being. So they unconsciously attempt to get energy and power from you. Wow. They are cut off from being, which means they are unconscious. They do not really know what they are doing. So they have no energy. So what are they doing? They unconsciously attempt to get energy and power from you. That's why they're trying to control you, manipulate you. It is true that only an unconscious person will try to use or manipulate others. But it is equally true that only an unconscious person can be used and manipulated. Wow, this is so profound. It is true that only an unconscious person will try to use or manipulate others, but it is equally true that only an unconscious person can be used and manipulated. Let's understand it. If you resist or fight unconscious behavior in others, you become unconscious yourself, right? उनके अंदर नेगेटिविटी है, उसको भी मैं कुछ लोग कहते हैं ना, सम पीपल से कि यार मुझसे ना झूठ बर्दाश्त नहीं होता, आई कांट स्टैंड लाइज, सो आई गेट एंग्री. So a person who is lying and a person who is getting angry, is there any difference to the energy level, vibration level? It's not, right? That is also unconsciousness, that is also unconsciousness. But surrender that does not mean that you allow yourself to be used by unconscious people, not at all. It is perfectly possible to say no firmly and clearly to a person, or to walk away from a situation and be in a state of complete inner non resistance at the same time. If someone is manipulating, controlling, I just have to do one thing. पहली बात तो complete inner non-resistant, no disturbance at all. Then surrender means complete non-resistance, no anger, no complaint, no negativity, no grudges. And then we can say no. We can speak, we can say no. This is going to be my decision, not yours. You can't do this to me. You can't say this word to me. You can't speak ill about me. You don't do that. We can do that without creating disturbance. This is what being surrender is. Here, I know that this is unconsciousness. People are unconscious. They do not really know. They do not have the power. So I'm relaxed, right? When you say no to a person or a situation, let it come not from reaction, but from insight, from a clear realization of what is right or not right for you at that moment. Insight, not reaction. Give yourself some time, introspection. If there is negativity, take your time. When things are clear, why you don't want to do that, say no. Let it be a non-reactive no, a high quality no, a no that is free of all negativity and so creates no further suffering. A high quality no. I love this word. This is what being surrender is. It does not mean that if they are using me, let them use me. No. I am in a situation at work that is unpleasant, right? I have tried to surrender to it, but I find it impossible. A lot of resistance keeps coming up, right? If you cannot surrender, take action immediately. Speak up or do something to bring about a change in the situation or remove yourself from it. Take responsibility for your life. Do not pollute your beautiful, radiant inner being nor the earth with negativity. Do not give unhappiness in any form whatsoever a dwelling place inside you. If you cannot take action, for example, if you are in prison, then you have two choices left: resistance or surrender, bondage or inner freedom from external conditions. Bondage or inner freedom from external conditions, suffering or inner peace. So let's understand this. Let's say you are in a situation in a work, your office work, or even the house environment that is unpleasant. You have tried to surrender to it. You have applied everything. You have tried. First of all, we have not really tried it. So first try being peaceful. That these situations does not define my peace of mind. I am in the control of it. And then speaking, saying no, speaking, high quality no, right? If you have done everything, then what to do? Either speak up, and still, if things are not changing, you remove yourself from it. But don't remove yourself from the situation in the starting. First, surrender. Take responsibility for your life, and please do not pollute your inner, radiant inner being. Keep it peaceful. Do not pollute the world. It is already polluted with negativity. And let's say you can't take any action. For example, there are situations when you, like in a prison, you can't do anything. Either resist or surrender, which means resistance means, why am I here? When will I go out? Negativity. That is going to be a bondage. The other option is inner freedom, inner peace, that, okay, this is the situation. What I have to do about it? What to do about the thing, right? So, is non resistance also be practiced in the external conduct of our life, such as non resistance to violence, or is it something that just concern our inner peace? Non resistance, can we do it in the external things, like if somebody is creating a violence? You only need to be concerned with the inner aspect. That is primary, of course. That will also transform the conduct of your outer life, your relationships, and so on. So the main thing, learning to surrender, which means non-resistance we have to do inside. The inner aspect, which means simple terms, simple bhasha mein, I don't have to get disturbed. I won't get disturbed. मुझे परेशान नहीं होना है. टेंशन नहीं लेनी है. That is the meaning of non-surrender, non-resistance. That is the meaning of surrender is, right? Your relationships will be changed profoundly by surrender. If you can never accept what is, by implication, you will not be able to accept anybody the way they are. You will judge, criticize, label, reject, or attempt to change people. Furthermore, if you continuously make the now into a means to an end in the future, you will also make every person you encounter or relate into a means to an end. Let me explain. The relationship, the human being, is then of secondary importance to you or of no importance at all. What you can get out of the relationship is primary, be it material gain, a sense of power, physical pleasure, or some form of ego gratification. So if we don't accept what is, which means surrendering, you will not accept anyone. This is what happens in the relationship. Even in everyday life, you will judge people, you will criticize, ये ऐसे है, ये ऐसे है, ये ऐसे करते हैं. You know, in relatives, in your house, what kind of things they talk about. Everyone talks about this only. They did this, they did. यही चलता रहता है. Label, reject, or attempt to change people, right? Or even you want, if you don't accept what is, people and situations are going to be for meeting your ends. Matlab, either to get something, you will think that this person, uh, if I say in Hindi, it means um, human mind is like, it's like a bhogna. Bhogna, you understand? इ- इंसान का मन होता है कि बस मुझे इससे कुछ लेना है. I have to get something from this person or from this thing, from nature, right? I don't care what the other person is going to feel, or what impact on that person is going to be. So relationships also is going to be like material gain, sense of power, physical pleasure, or ego gratification. Let me illustrate how surrender can work in relationships. When you become involved in an argument or some conflict situation, okay, perhaps with a partner or someone close to you, start by observing how defensive you become as your own position is attacked, or feel the force of your own aggression as you attack the other person's position, right? When there is an argument, just observe that how defensive you become if somebody is speaking something to you, how your position is attacked. Like you feel that something will be taken away from me, or how forceful you are when you attack other person's position. Observe the attachments to your views and opinions, ideology. भाई ये सही होता है, this is right, this is wrong. I know everything, you don't know anything. Observe the attachment, that what I think is right and what you think is wrong. Free the mental, emotional energy behind your need to be right and make the other person wrong. Sorry, feel that how much I want to be right, need to be right. I am right, you are wrong. It was your fault, not mine. That's the energy of egoic mind. And you make it conscious by acknowledging it, by feeling it as fully as possible. This is the unconscious behavior, egoic mind. Now we are making it conscious by acknowledging it. that I am getting a feeling of being right, attachment to my views, my perceptions, my belief system, then one day just be in that awareness. Then one day in the middle of an argument, you will suddenly realize that you have a choice. And you may decide to drop your own reaction just to see what happens. You surrender. I don't mean dropping the reaction just verbally by saying, okay, you're right, with the look on your face that says, I am above all this childish unconsciousness. That's just displacing the resistance to another level with the egoic mind still in charge, claiming superiority. I am speaking of letting off the entire mental, emotional energy field inside you that was fighting for power. It reminds me of an instance which happened with me, that just be conscious, and one day all that practice is going to help you. I was talking to somebody, and that person started blaming me, talking very rough language with me, that you do this, you do that, what not. So in a resistant, observant consciousness, get that I started getting that feeling. I started writing in the same manner, in the same language, and all that practice of being conscious. What happened, suddenly a thought came in my mind that, Hitesh, what are you doing? Don't do that. Don't degrade yourself. Don't downgrade yourself. Be here. Be conscious, no? You be who you want to be. And yes, there was a change in me, and I replied very beautifully, very peacefully, made that person realize, but in a very loving way. So you may decide to drop your own reaction just to see what happens. That's how you surrender, right? The ego is cunning. So you have to be very alert, very present, and totally honest with yourself to see whether you have truly relinquished your identification with the mental position and so freed yourself from your own mind. Ego is very cunning, which means you will not be able to understand from where it is coming. You have to be very alert, very present, totally honest that this feeling is coming, this thought is coming, the mental positioning is coming. If you suddenly feel very light, clear, and deeply at peace, this is an unmistakable sign that you have truly surrendered. So, what are the signs of surrendering? If you're feeling very light, very clear, and deeply at peace, then observe what happens to the other person's mental position as you no longer energize it through resistance. When identification with mental position is out of the way, true communication begins. Right? So, ego is very cunning, be very alert, be very present. And when you feel that lightness, that clarity, that peace, and maybe you want to speak something, but it is not coming up from the negativity. It is coming up from the peace, the state of love. Then observe what happens to the other person's mental position, because you're not feeding their ego. You're not attacking their ego. You will find a true change in them too, and then true communication begins, right? What about non-resistance in the face of violence, aggression, and the like? जब violence करे कोई, गलत करे, तब क्या करे? Non-resistance does not necessarily mean doing nothing. All it means is that any doing becomes non-reactive. Simple. It does not mean I don't have to speak for what is going wrong. It just means that it will be non-reactive. I will not react. I will surrender. I will be peaceful. Remember the deep wisdom underlying the practice of Eastern martial arts. Don't resist the opponent's force. Yield to overcome. Having said that, doing nothing when you are in a state of intense presence is a very powerful transformer and healer of situation and people. In Taoism, there is a term called Wu Wei, which is usually translated as actionless activity or sitting quietly doing nothing. In ancient China, this was regarded as one of the highest achievements of virtues. It is radically different from inactivity in the ordinary state of consciousness, or rather, unconsciousness, which stems from fear, inertia, and indecision. The real doing nothing implies inner non resistance and intense alert. So don't confuse it with that, non resistance means I won't do anything. I will do, but from a space of peace, lightness, love, understanding, clarity. And I also believe that this is the highest achievement or virtue. And doing nothing means being very alert, being very present, being conscious, not get identified with the mind and resistance. No, non resistance and alertness. On the other hand, if action is required, you will no longer react from your conditioned mind, but you will respond to the situations out of your conscious presence. In that state, your mind is free of concepts, including the concept of non-violence. So, who can predict what will you do, right? So now you will respond with your conscious presence, and that will be free of fear also, negativity, biasness also. The ego believes that in your resist in your resistance lies your strength, whereas in truth, resistance cut you off from being the only place of true power. Resistance is weakness and fear masquerading as strength. What the ego sees as weakness is your being in its purity, innocence, and power. And what is sees as strength is weakness. So the ego exists in a continuous non resistance mode and plays counterfeit roles to cover up your weakness, which is truth in your power. Right? You understand this? The ego ego seeks weakness as purity, innocence, power. But actually, that is the real power. And ego, strength is what it sees as strength is weakness, right? So ego feels that all those things are strength, but actually it's a weakness. That's why people who are, internally very weak try to do the things, everything on the outside. They will force people. They will put their things on people because internally they are actually weak. Until there is surrender, unconscious role playing constitutes a large part of human interaction. जब तक surrender नहीं होगा, unconscious role playing will keep on going. In surrender, you no longer need ego defenses and false marks. You become very simple, very real. That's dangerous, says the ego. If you become very simple, very real, ego will say, this is very dangerous. You will get hurt. You will become vulnerable. What the ego does not know, of course, is that only through the letting go of resistance Through becoming vulnerable, can you discover your true and essential invulnerability, right? What does ego does not know? Only through letting go of resistance, through becoming vulnerable, which means becoming simple, becoming real, becoming honest, becoming aware, you discover your true and essential invulnerability, which means you will find that you're very powerful, you're very peaceful, you're very helpful, you're very loveful, but there is a process to it, right? So, tomorrow we will talk about illness and how it can be very helpful in bringing a transformation. Okay, I think it is going to take 3 days or 4 days maximum for us to complete this book. Okay, so as we are towards the end of the reading this book, that's why today's session or recent session you must have found very deep, right? It is going to take some time for you to understand these things, these questions, these um, understanding of being truly um, peaceful in the present and how to surrender. Surrendering does not mean that let the things however they are. No. So let's hear it from you now. First question, let me ask you. Does surrender mean that you allow yourself to be manipulated or controlled by unconscious people? How can you say no firmly without creating inner resistance? So who is going to answer? Rajiv ji going to answer?
Om Shanti. Am I audible?
Yes, Om Shanti ji.
Actually, unconsciousness mind, they are unconscious and they try to utilize me. But I am aware and analyze all the things fully. And after that, react, not react, act. It means we say anything with a cool mind. After analysis, that there is no, I will not be manipulated with this person or this situation, and we will simply say no, that these things are not good, and we can avoid this situation.
Yes, right. Yes, Rana sister, please add something to it.
Okay, Om Shanti.
Om
Thank
Shanti.
you. Thank you, brother, for explanation. As I understood from it, that we have to say no, a high quality no, without anger, without negativity. We have to maybe stay silent for some time and then talk with our presence, with our with being conscious, and not don't have any resistance, or we should be peaceful and speak uh, with firm words, but acting from a place of love, from a place of peace, respecting the other. This may cause a difference. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, right. So surrender means that I will not be used if something is not happening right, if something is not in alignment with my values, if people are not conscious enough to do the right things, I will speak. I will say no. I will put my point, but surrender means non-resistance. I will not create pollution in my inner world. I will not get disturbed. That's how we can say high quality no, because we are so clear, we are so light, we are so free from the anger, from fear, that things are very clear, like black and white, that this is not something I'm going to do. So let me say no. Otherwise, we are very confused many times. Okay, so the second question, how can our relationship change profoundly by surrender? How to deal with how to deal when you become involved in an argument or conflict with your partner or someone close to you? How are you going to deal with it? Who is going to answer? You all have read the book, right? With me. So why not speak? Tell the answer. It means we were not really in the present. You were doing something else. Let me assume that only. That you were doing something on your mobile, or you were not listening. You were not reading when the author said about how to do the things in an argument, what to do in an argument. This is what it clearly implies. Yes, Induji. Are you able to unmute, Indu sister?
हाँ जी, ओम शांति।
Om Shanti ji.
हाँ, अगर हम किसी के साथ आर्गुमेंट में हैं, तो पहले हमें ये समझना चाहिए कि वो आर्गुमेंट इसलिए कर रहा है कि वो अनकॉन्शियस है। तो अगर हम भी उसी तरह से आर्गुमेंट करने लग जाते हैं, तो हम भी अनकॉन्शियस है, हम प्रेजेंट में नहीं है, हम भी अपने माइंड से आइडेंटिफाई हो रहे हैं। तो उनको समझना है, उनकी पोजीशन को समझना है। ठीक है, अगर हम उसमें कुछ कर सकते हैं, समझा सकते हैं, तो ठीक है। अदरवाइज हमें नो कहना है। और अगर ज्यादा ही कोई इस तरह की सिचुएशन है, तो हमें वॉकआउट भी कर सकते हैं। लेकिन फर्मली कहना है, जो भी कहना है, कॉन्शियस होके।
Right,
थैंक यू।
right. और कोई इसमें ऐड करना चाहता है? Anyone wants to add? So basically we have to do कि when there is an argument, just observe that how much attached we are to our beliefs, our ideas, our things, that this is right and you are wrong. Just observe how much attached I am with my own thought process, and I'm not willing to listen to the other person. Just observe that how much attacking I am becoming, how much egoic I am becoming. And you know um, uh, you start acknowledging that there is a fear, and there is a thing that which says that um, I need to be right. Rather than focusing on the solution, we say no, I need to be right. So that's what we have to be aware. Next time you're having an argument, just be aware that how my ego, my mind is going to play with me, how it is going to justify, how it's going to get, attacking in doing all these things. Just Be conscious, and suddenly what is going to happen? One day will come, which means few days practice. It is going to take few days for you. Then you will be able to stay calm. You will be able to respond, not react. Okay. Okay. So the last question. When something very okay, this will cover tomorrow. We have not covered it. So yes, ठीक है. So yes. हाँ, मैं मैसेजेस देख रहा हूँ. क्वेश्चंस. आप जो कह रहे हैं, मेरे नंबर का जूम सेव, नंबर क्लास सेव कर लीजिए. आपको अभी ग्रुप का लिंक भेज रहे हैं. आप उस ग्रुप को ज्वाइन कर लीजिए. सभी जूम वो सब उसी में आ जाएगा. ठीक है, अभी लिंक भेज रहे हैं ग्रुप का. उस ग्रुप में आप ज्वाइन हो जाइए. अगर आप में से कोई भी ग्रुप में नहीं है तो आप ग्रुप देख लेना. ठीक है. हाँ. और या जनदीप कौर जी, सरेंडर क्या होता है, फुली प्रेजेंट. यही तो बुक हम पढ़ रहे हैं तब से. आई बिलीव आपने बीच में ज्वाइन किया होगा ये सरेंडर वाला भी, और आई बिलीव आज भी आपने मिडल में ज्वाइन किया होगा. सो प्लेलिस्ट भी भेज रहे हैं आपको यूट्यूब का. पूरा देखिए. है ना, यही तो हम समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. दिस इज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड, दैट व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ बीइंग in the present and what is the meaning of surrendering is. Okay. So uh, this thing again, like author said today, that surrendering means non-resistance. Things which are not in my control, I will not even spend a second on thinking about it. This is what surrendering is. Things which are in my control, things which needs actions, I will do it with all my pure intentions, with my love. But things which are not in my control, I will not even think about it. Okay? So it's, you know, surrendering means it's not about, like he gave the example 2 days yesterday, that let's say if you are in a mud, अगर आप कहीं फंसे हुए, if you are stuck, अगर आप कीचड़ में हो, so what you are going to do? Surrendering does not mean that you will say कि okay, I will not come out of it. Surrendering means not resigning. Surrendering means not giving up. Surrendering does not mean that you give up or you resign from it. Resign मतलब ये नहीं होना चाहिए था, अब मैं क्या करूं. सोल्यूशन पे बात नहीं कर रहे, बस यही सोच रहे हैं मैं क्या करूं, ये नहीं होना चाहिए था. राइट. Accept it, acknowledge it. I am in a mud. Now what can I do? Forget about past, forget about future, forget about, let's say, people who are standing there and they are saying that you can't come out of this mud. No. Surrendering means, okay, this is the situation. I have to come out of this mud. What can I do? Right. But for this we need clarity. For this
And
we need peace. For this we need happiness. We need purity. Then only we'll be able to do the things. Then only we will be able to surrender. Then only we will be able to surrender, as well as then only we will be able to take action, right action, in a right direction. Okay. Yes, Sujata ji.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, actually, as you have just told, that surrender means first we have to know the things which we can change and which we cannot change. But then to know thoroughly that what we can change and we cannot change, that also needs the power of discrimination. So first we
Right.
have to analyze that what we can change and what we cannot change. How to do that? Then only the second part will come, that accept which you cannot change and change which you can. But that
Yes.
discrimination power, how to develop that you can guide. Om Shanti, thank you.
Yeah, see, discrimination power means what is right, what is wrong. And when our mind is not stable, when our mind is full of fear, full of confusion, full of negativity, full of past, full of tension, anxiety, that's when we are not able to think clearly. That's when we are not able to see things clearly. That's why there is a confusion. Even to the point that we are not able to see what is right and what is wrong, right? So, first of all, that's what we are understanding about surrendering. Surrendering means, like I said, that let me focus here and now. Let me not dwell, let me not think about things which are not in my control. We usually think, we usually give energy to the things which are not in our control, which means either past or future, right? So, or the results. So, we have to let go of all that. That's why we have to check, am I in the present? Am I truly at ease? Am I truly at peace? Am I truly at joy? क्या मैं खुश हूँ क्या मैं शांत हूँ इस मोमेंट में we have to experience this again and again and again. When we are able to do that, we have to surrender. And again, surrendering means whatever has happened, and whatever is going to happen, I need to create it. I need to create it by focusing in the present, by making my today beautiful, meaningful. So, this is how we will get the clarity. It is going to happen slowly and gradually, like author talked about this in a relationship, right? So, in later part also, that ego is very cunning, ego is very mischievous. Ego feels that your strength is speaking loudly. Your strength is uh, doing the things to show to the world, but it is not right. है ना? So in a relationship also, the ego is saying that prove your point, justify this, make other person know, forget about the solution, just prove that you are right and the other person is wrong. So when we are becoming conscious that just I will just observe that how my mind is going to play, how my ego is going to play next time uh, I am meeting somebody. And I do it a lot. I observe other people also, I observe myself also, that whenever there is an heated argument or something resistive argument, I check within myself what was the thing which is the ego, you know, the ego, what the ego is trying to say. Ego is trying to feed, ego is trying to say कि no 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 इसको जवाब दो अभी, say this to this person, सिखाएगा कौन इनको, you have to teach them, tell them this, no don't wait for evening or later, just say them upfront. This is what I have learned, that you have to be upfront, you have to be blunt. You understand? Again, we have to be we have to be the observer, that what my mind is creating, what the ego is trying to do, because ego is very cunning. Eventually what is going to happen, there is going to be a time when we will see this is not right, and we will choose. We will see that, oh, I have a choice, मेरे पास तो choice थी इस बात को अलग तरीके से फील करने की, और speak something else or feel something else, right? So this is how, more we meditate, again more we are in the present, like author said many days ago, that uh, how conscious you are is going to be decided by your quality, your degree of being in the present, how much present you can stay, how much observer you can be, that is going to decide your life. And that is, today author says that is going to decide the world's consciousness, that is going to decide how world is going to change. So we just 1% we have to learn the art of surrender, and it will do wonders. So yes, surrender actually is very magical. Start practicing it. Okay. I hope everyone's got the answer. Again, without practicing, you know that, right? Knowledge without implementation is like a poison. So implement it. Whatever we have learned today, please implement it. Okay. And on the last note, I want to share something with you. I just read yesterday and it's so powerful. And it was that I will send in the group also. If you don't feel, the quote says this, you can change it. If you don't feel like praying, or you can change the praying to meditation. If you don't feel like meditating, force it. Because something is also forcing you not to pray, not to meditate. You understand this? If you don't feel like meditating, force it, because something in you also forcing you not to meditate. Again, the ego is saying, don't meditate, don't speak softly, don't be so loveful, don't be in the present, be in the past, be in the future. So even if you don't feel like meditating, even if you don't feel like not doing anything, like author said that it's a practice of wuvi, na? Actionless activity, doing nothing, just being in the present. If you don't feel like doing it, force it. Because something in you, the ego in you, is forcing you not to do it. You understand? So you have to be little firm with yourself. Get no, karna hai. Spend an hour without doing anything. Without doing anything, which means be in the present, be conscious, be aware what is happening. The time spending awareness about your emotions, about your thought, about other person's emotions, uh, understanding them yourself is not a wasted time. It is going to bring you more towards the soul consciousness. Okay? Yeah. So yes, I'm answering this question. That I said that knowledge without implementation is like a poison, which means if we don't practice it, you know what is going to happen? Somebody is going to tell you, be in the present. You know what you are going to say? Arey, I know you have to be in the present. It has become poison, which means that has also become your ego. That I know that I have to be in the present. I have to be alert, but I'm not doing it. If you won't do it, it is again just adding it to your ego. वो ego में ही add हो रहा है. Again, you have got something to identify with it. Like if you don't practice it, after 6 months, you will say to somebody, "Oh, I have read Power of Now." Again, I'm identifying with this book also. Arey, I have read Power of Now. You have not read it. Oh, you're so um, poor, right? So I don't have to identify with anything. I have to practice it simply, right? I think, um, yes, right. It becomes a lot if we don't do it, right? Okay. So forcing meditation is resistance? No, resistance again is something else, like we discussed. That resistance means the inner thing. Ego is trying to create a resistance, and because it is finding purity as a weakness, love as a weakness, peace as a weakness. Here we are talking about resistance means non resistance means getting sad, getting angry. So the forcing meditation is not um, forcing meditation is not resistance. Again, as the quote says, that there is something in me which is forcing me not to do it. Right? Okay, चलो. ऐसे तो questions खत्म नहीं होंगे, right? So just keep on doing it, and uh, the good news is that we will start next book very soon after. We will give a 1 or 2 days break after reading this book, and then we will read You Can Heal Your Life. And this book is very, very powerful. It has so many good affirmations, so many realizations, so many good things to practice. You're going to love it. And uh, this book is, mm, you can suggest it to anyone who is physically not good. Physical health is not good, because through these affirmations, people have healed even cancer, right? So stay tuned and share it with the people what we are doing here. And of course, needless to say, you all have to do that, है ना? एक बुक के बाद खत्म नहीं करना है. Okay? चलो. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Om Shanti.